You're basking in the modern beauty of Seoul, one of the most jaw-dropping cities in Asia, or the world for that matter. Now it's time to embrace Korean culture. Pop culture, that is. Today, Samantha Gross, author of the travel blog There She Goes Again, is back to give us a crash course in what you need to know before you go. Welcome to Korean Pop Culture 101. Korea is having a moment. Even folks in suburbia know about K-pop and know about Squid Games. How would you describe K-pop to a suburban person like myself?
Any music that's sung in Korean is called K-pop over here. But in Korea, you can say like K-indie, K-jazz, K-hip-hop. Like K-hip-hop is actually like a huge like sub-music genre in the country. But in America, they kind of like lump them all together and they ship them off as K-pop.
It's more like K-music. It's Korea music, all of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So is there one band or artist that you would recommend to somebody to like get their feet wet in the K-pop world?
There is this group called SHINee, SHINEE. They have been around since the second generation, which is 2007 to 2011. I think they are like one of the best groups to look at because they're still active and they've been through a lot. They are considered wildly talented, both individually and as a group. Even back in the day when they were young and rookies, like they were seen as these incredibly talented singers. This was at a time when like companies had a lot of control over like artists' images and what they were singing, even like how they were acting in interviews. So SHINee just felt very authentic. They're such a great group to look at because the fact that they've been able to stay relevant for the last almost 16 years, they've gone through all of their military services, which if you know anything about Korea, all men in Korea have to go through a 2-year military service. And usually K-pop idols go through it when they're like 28. So they've all been through it. Their journey and what they've been able to maintain and continue to do is like truly something worth looking at. And if you start with one of their best songs, which is called A Ring Ding Dong, you're going to get like a pure like 2009 K-pop sound. And it is so catchy and so ridiculous.
Well, I'm going to add that to my playlist now because I feel like I'm just about to dive fully into the wave of K-pop. I know I'm extremely behind the times here, but I'm into it. I want to do it. Okay, so let's talk about the food. I heard that 7-Elevens are also kind of a thing and convenience stores. So do people really eat 7-Eleven food, like unironically? Tell me.
If cafes are everywhere, convenience stores are even more everywhere.
Even more everywhere.
Yeah, like, and they're open almost, I think, 24/7, if not like close to 24/7. You can find like everything you could want in a convenience store. I used to go and get like kimbap. So kimbap is like sushi, but bigger and like more casual to eat. So a lot of times it comes in like stacked on top. I've heard this guy in college, he called it push pop sushi, which I think is like the greatest descriptor of it I've ever heard. And you can get the triangle ones too, but they're just like nutritious. You grab them. If you go on a hike, like you'll go to the convenience store before you go to the hike and you'll just like load up on kimbap, ramen, like everything. You can get it there. Snacks, drinks, all sorts of Korean snacks.
Let's talk about something that the Koreans do better than anybody. It's skincare. Why is it so good? And where can we stock up on goodies?
I think it's so popular because, one, Koreans are not loyal to any specific brand, usually. There's a lot of like loyalty to brands in America, whereas in Korea, it's like, no, I'm going to get whatever that I think is the best for me. And they're very like, if this is no longer working for me, you're out. So it's very almost cutthroat from the consumer side for brands. So they always have to be innovating. They always have to be making actually good products because everyone can have great marketing. But if the product isn't good, then Koreans will tell you and they'll review it poorly. So I would say if you go to one place, go to Olive Young, which is now like it has all of the best indie brands, and specifically go to the Hongdae branch or the Myeongdong branch because they're the biggest stores and they carry brands that aren't necessarily in like smaller Olive Youngs around the city. You could honestly spend like 2 hours looking at all of the products in like one Olive Young because they carry so many brands and they just have so much going on and it's just so fun. So like skincare stores, you can like walk around and they're all probably like within the same block. So then you can start to see like Nature Republic, Innisfree, Etude House, like all these famous brands that you've probably seen like in K-pop music videos or like dramas or things like that.
That's amazing. But that's what luggage is for, right? That's okay. No shame. No shame in your game. So the film Parasite from a couple years ago won a ton of awards, including Best Picture. And that turned a lot of people on to Korean dramas. Like, it's the Korean wave. What's it all about?
So the Korean wave, they call the Hallyu. It describes like contemporary Korean culture, like pop culture. So one of the interesting things that Korea did, I want to say in either the late 80s or the 90s, is that they kind of saw how the US, like Hollywood, was kind of taking over all of the markets in the world. And they were like, wait a minute, no, we're going to invest in our filmmaking, in our pop culture, and we're going to invest in those creators so that our market, domestic market, is still stronger than a foreign market. So like one of the Marvel movies came out and it was like #1 everywhere in the world, except for like Korea. There was a historic war movie that was like #1. And then it was like this Marvel movie was #2. That's how invested they are in having a strong domestic market. Parasite winning that Best Picture award, it wasn't like, wow, this is so cool that this happened. This was going to happen eventually. This is like how I got into Korean culture too. A Taiwanese drama I liked was adapted into a Korean drama. And I was just like, wow, the production on this is incredible. The acting is really good. The plot lines were good. And I feel like it's just gotten better as more people have been able to see it. And Netflix has really like exploded the distribution.
Is that the best place to kind of dive into some of the Korean wave media?
I think Netflix has like most of them, maybe Hulu for some. And then if you're really like struggling to find it, look on, it's called a Viki, Viki. If you can't find it on Netflix or Hulu, you will find it there.
Let's talk about our own talent here for a minute, because the most fun that I would have in Seoul, I imagine, is at noraebang, which is karaoke rooms, which I can't think of anything more fun than that. So tell us what it's like to do karaoke in Korea.
Oh my gosh, I love noraebang. So noraebang literally translates to song room. Noraebang, bang is room. And it is literally like you just go in with your friends. You have the lyrics on a screen. And then you have like mics that kind of like filter your voice a little. So you sound just like a little better than you would normally. And then you get like all this fun stuff like tambourines and just like this giant songbook to figure out like what songs you want to play next. And I've always found that you'll pay for an hour and then you'll wind up getting like a bunch of free like minutes later. So you wind up being in there for like twice as long as you think. The ones in Seoul tend to have like more popular Western music in them. But even in the countryside, you can find like all the like great classic English songs to sing if you have like no ability to sing in Korean. It's kind of loud, so you can't really tell how bad you are. And you just like sing to your heart's content. And obviously there's like drinks and food that you can have in there too. It's just, I don't know. It's like hard to tell someone who's never like done it, but it's literally one of the most fun things you can do with your friends.
And you get to sing so much more than if you were at a karaoke bar where you have to wait your turn among 100 people. You just have your little group and you can all sing Backstreet Boys together.
Yes. And there's no pressure to like be in a crowd. Like you're in a dark room. So like you're not self-conscious of singing in front of strangers. Like it's just you and your friends just like jamming out.
That's such a fun thing to do, especially I imagine when it's hot outside and humid and you can go inside and get some air conditioning, sing a bit.
Yeah. And so Koreans also do not like being sweaty and hot. So every building in Seoul is like air conditioned to the nth degree in the summer. So you actually might want to like bring a sweater for some places. That's how cold it'll get.
For this Floridian, that sounds perfect. You have completely sold me on Seoul. Samantha Gross, thank you for joining us. And thank you, our listeners, for being with us. If you're planning a trip, be sure to connect with a AAA travel advisor. Check out AAA.com/travel or visit your local branch. This podcast is a production of Auto Club Enterprises. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and leave us a review. I'm Angie Orth. Thank you for traveling with AAA.